Funny because sometimes God will use the enemies that you do know, your known enemies, to expose the ones that you don't. And what I mean with that is oftentimes, based on who we have a relationship with, and based on the bond that we have, oftentimes the love or what you want something to be, it will blind you to reality of who people or its situations are. And so oftentimes you will always find yourself making extremely bad or detrimental decisions in your life when it comes to certain individuals is because of the love that you do got for them. You have a certain idea of who people are and what they should be. And so oftentimes, even when people are doing dirt towards you or they're being toxic towards you, corrosive towards you, or whatever the case may be, you oftentimes in some way shape or form will justify it in your head, or you'll put it off. You'll try to pass off the blame. You even blame yourself sometimes about what somebody else is doing, but you don't ever necessarily want to blame a person that you got all this love for, from the simple fact that you don't want to see them for who they truly are. It's almost like you don't want to live in reality sometimes, because the truth is like, it hurts like hell. We don't want to hear the truth about most things in life. The truth is extremely scary. And so when you see people and you see them taking certain type of actions or a repetitive pattern of behavior and stuff like that, it's almost like you keep on wanting to keep on denying it, and you always are keep on making decisions that's keeping you in downward, depressed, sunken space where you cannot move forward in life. They feed us philosophies that we should always adhere by, and these just vague sayings. Oh, you should always stick to this person, or you should always do this, or you should always do that, and whatever the case may be. And we as humans, we think that that's the truth. Again, like you always have that saying, oh, blood is thicker than water, and that's not necessarily from God. I don't think that's from God, and I think that saying is more so from blood is thicker than water. I think that's a primary thing that humans have came up with, and we've stuck to as humans, from the perspective that we as human want allies. We would need other people to aid us in protecting ourselves while we're on this earth. So oftentimes you're going to find other people to identify with who can be on your side to help you and defend you. Your very first form of protection, your very first form of people that will automatically join you on your crusade, and that will more likely give you protection, provisions, and all that stuff, is your family. That's the very first one. So blood is there, and yes, we use the saying blood is thicker than water. Why? It's because at a primitive level, we need others around us and to aid us in surviving. Okay, so I don't think it's necessarily a quote from God. I think it's a quote from people, but we ran with it and we think, oh, because it does says you need to honor mother or father and stuff like that. But in the same vein, it says also, if you love your mother, your father, your brother, sister, your auntie, cousins, your family, your community, your this to that. If you love these people more than me, then you're not worthy of me. It's like, why does he say that? In the same vein, it's because people in their flesh and their spirit, two completely different things. So if you go off of people with just their flesh, flesh will kill you. Flesh will drag you. Flesh don't give a damn. Flesh will kill you. But a person's spirit, you can't, you know what I mean? Like, that's different. That's a different type of family. So, yeah, you know what I mean? But with all that being said, you might have so much love, or you keep on making excuses, or you're so blinded by the behavior of certain individuals and how toxic and corrosive it is. You just put it off as, oh, that's just who that person is. Oh, that's just this, that's just this, that's just that. And you don't even realize the dark, deep hole that you're putting yourself in, and how people are taking advantage of you potentially, or people are using titles as a way to beat you down. They're using it as a way to stay around you, and you might not know any other alternatives. And then the society as a whole has all these sayings that you need to stick to certain individuals, regardless of whether or not they're being corrosive, evil, vindictive, nasty, or whatever the situation is. You know what I'm saying? And so you'll be in this space of la la land. You'll be all over the doggone place, and you thinking again, when something happens with certain individuals, you'll blame yourself rather you blame the other person. You'll play it off. You'll make it seem like it's nothing. You'll think, oh, that's normal. Everybody do that. And again, that's the thing, because you grow up in certain environments where you think it's normal. And it is normal in certain environments. In certain environments, and then you also realize that you got to learn certain type of survival tactics to be in certain environments. You cannot be your full authentic self. You cannot. You have to act a certain type of way when you're in certain environments, especially when you're not in a position of power. If you have an individual who is more so on the narcissistic side, they do not want to take accountability for nothing. They have to manage and control their environment, because their environment is an extension of them. Okay, so they don't regulate themselves. They don't work on themselves. They don't do any of that stuff. So what if anything happens? happens, they'll blame you. You are the reason why this happened. And you had nothing to do with it. But they'll make it somehow your fault. Like they're gonna push the blame off to somebody else. It's not because of who they are on the internal and the decisions that they made on the internal, or like the consequences of the decisions that they made on the internal. It's because you did something wrong. Like for example, they told you to go to the store at 3 o'clock and go pick this up. The store didn't close. The store closed at what, 2:59 or something like that. And they could have known that, or they told you to go at the last minute. And because they didn't think in their head and like, oh man, I should have asked you to go do this earlier, or I should have went to go do it earlier, or I should have been more proactive. They'll blame you because you got to the store at 1 minute late and you can no longer go. Like you should have just known that the store was open. If you would have left earlier, or you would have did this, you see what I'm saying? They would just blame you and try to put you down because they don't want to take the accountability for what has happened. And they truly do be thinking it's your fault. They think it's your, but they don't take any type of accountability. And this is just one example, but you can see this across the board that you'll have with certain individuals, and it can always lead you into having certain survival tactic type of behaviors. You'll start to develop these behaviors, and if you're not careful, you don't work on those things, and you don't actually in the future try to like change it and stuff like that, and actually start to go work through your trauma. You believe that these behaviors are normal, these survival tactics, and it's not until you get on later in life that you realizing that, yo, I've been using survival tactics that I had to learn in my youth. In my adulthood, I've been using them. And I didn't realize, because now with those survival tactics, your survival tactics are only going to work with certain individuals. So you're naturally going to gravitate towards certain individuals, people, things, places, or whatever the case may be that you saw in your youth, because that's what your behavior and that's what you're used to dealing with. And so oftentimes you'll get into other relationships. And here's the thing, this is what I'm talking about, where God will use your known enemies to expose your hidden enemies. And that is, you'll start to go into other relationships that mirror how you had relationships with people that you had love for in the past. And so when you get older, in time, you'll start to recognize, yo, this person is extremely toxic. Yo, this person, this environment, this workplace, this spouse, this is extremely toxic. It's in cities, and to get you to a point where these people are beating you down so much, it's only that God can like really, expose like what's going on around you and stuff like that. But once he does, he illuminates things, and you're able to cut off these relationships or these toxic things and stuff like that, and you start to go on that journey to trying to like figure out yourself more and go through those traumas. What you'll start to realize is, why is it that you'll be asking this question? Why did you go? Or God asked you this question, But this is lingering question. Why were you over there with these people, these type of people in the very first place? Especially when you get up and you go to another healthier environment, it's so blatantly obvious how corrosive and negative and toxic certain people or situation was. And you thinking to yourself, how could I have stayed so long? Why was I over there? A lot of stuff, it has to do with you. It had to do with you. People were able to stay in your life because of you, and you don't realize, it was, and you had those same type of survival tactics in a relationship of any kind in your adulthood, and you're still moving and operating that way. You don't know why. Well, the reason why is because of what you've learned in your youth, what you grew up in your youth, and you forgot that you were using survival tactics. You forgot that you are operating off of abandonment issues. You forgot these things. So now you're giving yourself up. You're falling into people's manipulation. You want people to like you more than they respect you. And you find yourself in this place where you don't understand why you getting walked like a dog, why you getting drugged up and down the country. Why are you getting drugged like this? Or like, why are you going through all this turmoil? Why is it like you having all these problems and stuff like that? Why do you have a double mind and you can't be stable and stuff like that? It's because of the programs and the thought processes that people have taught you your entire life. People in your adulthood that just simply see it. They see that somebody already laid the foundation, the blueprint. All they're doing is going in and clicking buttons and taking over from what somebody else in the past has done. And you're so normal, it's normalized, and you're so used to it because you've been going through it your entire life. And it's not until you go through enough hell, enough toxicity, until God can really show you, do you want to stay in this? Do you want to stay in this toxic environment? Do you really want to be here? Look who people are. Look what this is. Look how you're losing yourself in these people. Look how this is harming you. Look at your health. Look at everything, your mental health, your career. You're never going anywhere in the situation. You're going to the grave in this situation. Do you want to stay here? And when you had enough toxicity, be like, absolutely not. Let's go. And sometimes, that's why they be like, oh yeah, God comes when he needs to. It's because he knows at that point you're ready to go. A second earlier, you probably wouldn't be ready to go and leave and starting to leave people behind and stuff like that. But he knows that you gonna put when it gets enough, and you really about to turn to the dark side and stuff like that. You turn. That's when he come in and get you, and he's like, "Do you want to stay in this? Do you truly want to stay in this? Do you want to keep on going down this merry-go-round?" You're like, "No, I want to go on this. I'm ready to go." And so you get up and you leave, and so you start to remove people who you've met in your adulthood. You start to remove those toxic people away. And now that you're in this isolated season and God got you by yourself and stuff like that, you're able to focus more and you're able to think more. You don't have people in your ear 24/7 talking to you, or you have people all over the place just dragging you here and there, because people do that stuff on purpose. So you never have the time and the opportunity to actually really think and start to learn yourself and actually grow stronger as an individual and start to work through those traumas and things of that nature. People do not want you to do that. People want you to be as drained as possible. That's why they want you to work as many hours. They want you to be extremely tired. You know, they'll keep on doing things so that they drain you as much as possible, because they understand that if you ever have the opportunity and the time to have and sufficiently gain your energy back, you'll start to figure things out and start to weed people about your life. So people don't want that. They keep you in constant drama. They keep on arguing with you and stuff like that. They do not want you in a state of peace. They can't have you in a state of peace. Half of the time, they don't like you being in a state of peace because they can't ever have it, and they're jealous and they hate that. And the other half, they know that if you're in a state of peace, you're going to start looking at things and you're going to see things clear. You're going to start to see people clearer. Don't want to have that. Don't want to have that. So that's why these people will start up all this drama and this turmoil. If you're watching it, they want you to pay attention so that you're never focusing on yourself. They want you working, tired, so you don't have enough energy for yourself. But I'm telling you, God, when you get through enough toxicity and stuff like that, He takes you up out of that, and then now you're in this state by yourself, this isolation season for yourself. And this is extremely important, because this is the time where you really get to know a lot more about yourself and start to really go in deep. And start to really go through that trauma and all those wounds that you faced as a child, because now you're one of your biggest questions is, how is it that I wound up myself? How did I find myself in these toxic situations in my adulthood? And how in the living sand blazes can I avoid them forever? You've been through enough hell, and now the God gave you peace. You're like, absolutely not. I'm about to figure out why. I'm not about to go back into that. You're very motivated, and you'll get to this question: why were you around these individuals in the first place? Why? And it takes some time in that isolation season, but I'm telling you again, God's going to eventually show you. He's going to show you. And what He's going to show you is, why did you go to gravitate towards these situations? Because you thought that they were comfortable. You thought that this was love. You thought that this was this. You thought that this, and it was the furthest thing from it. But these people, when you look at them, they mirror the people that you grew up with. They mirror the individuals that you've had around you your whole entire life, where you normalized the toxicity, you normalized the behavior, you adapted to survival tactics, and you forgot that you did that in your youth to survive in certain environments. You will start to see much more clearer, and God will show you, well, the reason why these people, they mirror the people that you've known your entire life. That's why you didn't see them. That's why. It's because they're the same as other people. The spirit is the same. The face is just changed. That's why you thought it was normal. That's why you thought that this was love. This is why you found yourself in these very, very dark, corrosive environments where people are beating you down in the way that they are. It's because you've grown up with it your entire life. He's illuminating your real, true enemies that's been there the entire time. And that's a hard pill to swallow, because again, you know deep down inside, you more than likely already know that, but you don't really want to come to grips with it. You make excuses. You're trying to do these mental gymnastics. You're trying to find some type of way, because you really got love for a lot of these people. You don't want to cut these people off. You don't want to be without these people, but you recognize in day, time and time again. And I'm telling you, God will show you time and time again, especially when you go around certain individuals, they can't help being themselves, and they will act just like how they've acted their whole entire life. But the thing is, you might have not necessarily seen it in the past, but once you go through another toxicity and then you see that behavior in other people, now when you see it in your own people, you're like, whoa, because now the decision's on you. Now you see where it's coming from. Now you see why you thought it was so normal. Now you get it. But what you gonna do now? Because you'll see, and you might want to deny it, but you'll see, if you were to be blindfolded and you took the actions of the people that you grew up with and you juxtaposed them to somebody out here in the world that you met in your adulthood, it's extremely much more easier to get rid of these people that you've met in your adulthood with the quickness. You can get rid of them with the quickness. You don't care. I mean, you got some, but you really truly don't care. People might think that you care, but you don't care because it's like you know how to detach. You understand that this is some BS. So it's almost like you'll be put in a situation where God was like, okay, if you're blinded, if I were to put these blinders on you, and you took the behavior of people that you grew up with, there will be no question with what you would do if they were one of these people that was outside in the world that you met in your adulthood. There will be no question what you would do with them. Not a single shred of a doubt. But because these people you grew up with and you got all this love for them, you never seen them for who they were. You've never seen it because you didn't want to see it half of the time and you normalized it. You've learned survival tactics that you took out into the world, and people they were able to get over, and you're getting in these relationships or whatever situation you find yourself in. These people they weren't programming you necessarily in a way where it was they were just simply going in pressing the buttons that somebody else has already set up the program for. It's like somebody logging onto a computer. They can only do so much. They work with the program already there. They didn't install. They might try to install new things, but there's a lot of the groundwork. There's a lot of the blueprint already there. So they're just going in and using what's already there. They're not starting from scratch. But once you saw that these people over here and their corrosive behavior and how they were toxic and how they did not have your best interests at heart, it's so much clearer to see the people up over here. And that's what I'm talking about, where sometimes he will use your known enemies, because you know these people up over here is your enemies without a shadow of a doubt. You know that. But if you were to juxtapose their behavior is the same way as the people that grew up with you your entire life. It's no question what you would do with the people up over here. But what do you do with the people up over here? Because where are you going to go now? Who do you got now? What you got now? And that's a hard decision that you got to find yourself in. But it's like, you know what? I'm not going back down memory lane. I'm not Minnie Rippleton. I'm not about to go back down memory lane with a lot of people. So I'm going to have to start to remove people, because you realize, okay, I got love for people, but they ain't got love for me. I want to see people do good, but they don't want to see me do good. I ain't going to come at them and talk down on them and talk about them behind their back and all this other stuff. But I can't say the same thing for me. So I find myself shackled if I stay in this dynamic. You find yourself that you got to be a doormat, or you got to run in there fighting every day. And it's people that you got love for. And it's like both of those situations are terrible. You'll never get anywhere in life. You either be a doormat or you got to go in there swinging every day. And it's 70, 50 people just on you. You get exhausted. The only other alternative is you got to let people go. And people don't have attitudes and things of that nature, but it's like, what could you do next? You just stuck in this state. If you don't, if you damn if you do, damn if you don't. But hey, when you don't, damn, I mean, if you do, you'll be damned just for a little bit. You might not necessarily be happy letting certain individuals go, but your peace will be there, because you get to the point you realize, okay, I got love for these people, and yeah, maybe we whatever, but it's like they don't have that same type of love for me. They just don't, and you can't force nobody to do that. They want to bring drama and strife and chaos, and they want to keep on breaking me down and having me be something that I'm not, so that they can keep on manipulating and getting over on me and feeling better about themselves by looking down on me. It's just that doggone simple. So it's like, what do you do? What do you choose? And this is why God says, if you love your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your cousin, your community, these black people, this, more than me, you're not worthy of me. Because when the time comes, you're going to choose flesh over spirit. And flesh will kill you. They will kill you. It's just that simple. They don't have the same, just because a person has a title in your life, people are people first. People are humans first. All the rest of that stuff comes second. What do I mean with that? When I say people are people first, you can't outrun a person's envy, jealousy, hatred. You can't outrun all that stuff. It don't matter whether, just because this person has a title, their nature, human nature, supersedes everything else. So it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter how long y'all know each other. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter, because human nature, you can't trump human nature. You just simply can't. So people are going to be people first, and then the titles second. And what that means that they will snake you. They'll try to tear you down. It doesn't matter what you do or what you do and do not give or whatever the situation is. It doesn't matter how much you sacrifice. It doesn't matter how kind or generous or this. These people still hate your damn guts and they still trying to take you up out this bad boy. You couldn't see it before, but you clearly see it now. Why is it that you were never able to fully be yourself and express yourself? Well, and you realize that when you were in your adulthood, but why did you start in your adulthood? Because you got to understand one thing. For the most part, people, when they're growing up, they're not just going to go and just go do something completely different from what they've never seen before. Has there been people like that? Absolutely. But that is the exception. That's not the rule. A lot of people, they're going to stay in what is familiar, what they've seen in their growing, their upbringing, and then their mentality has already been programmed based on the environment and whoever was running the unit, the familial unit, the community unit, the racial group, whatever it is. So people, they're going to act a certain type of way because everybody's getting the same type of programming. And it's difficult to get up out of that situation. It's difficult to now to get up in your adulthood and do something completely different from what other people have done. Most people, they are very afraid of change and they do not want to be the first one to go out there and jump on that ledge. So it's a select few of people who actually will change and they will do something completely different from the rest of the group. That's why oftentimes you'll be a black sheep. You'll be the scapegoat. You'll be the one that's on the outside. But people, what you'll realize too is the tactics that you've met people in your adulthood, the manipulation tactics, the silent treatments, the games and stuff. You realize that you've been dealing with that your entire life. And the thing is, what happens is when these people over here in your adulthood use that, they didn't realize that they was sitting there shooting themselves in the foot. They thinking that they're tearing you down with the silent treatment. They thinking they sitting there tearing you down with how they spreading gossips and lying and doing all this manner of evil behind your back. They think that they're tearing you down and that they are going to be the final say and they're going to put the final nail in your coffin for everything that they're doing. But these prideful bastards don't even realize that they just simply digging a grave for themselves. So they fell right into them graves. They push their own self up out your life. In the same fashion, people of the past and that you've grown up with, you realize that you were using the same tactics as the people that you've met out there in the world. And in the same vein, they are the ones that have already pushed themselves about your life. They didn't try to. It wasn't intentional in the sense that they didn't want to just, they did it in a way that was trying to break you. They did it in a way that they was trying to hurt you. They were trying to harm you. But it backfired in their face. It backfired because the only way that their tactics will work is if you care. That's the only way. So they had power as long as you cared. They were in control as long as you cared. They were the dominant one as long as you wanted some type of relationship. But the moment God gave you love and validation, it was a done deal. You don't care no more. Now people have lost any footing in your life. They've never gave you a damn thing, never said a kind word, never do all this, everything that Dave was doing and all the evil and stuff like that. They knew that the only power that they had was what they could have gave you, the validation and love. That's the only thing that they ever had over you. And once they lost that, they thought that they would have that forever. They ain't count on God coming into the picture. They didn't count on that at all. They thought that was going to break you down by them not even want to interact with you, not talking to you, neglectful, and talking down on you behind your back and stuff like that, get people to turn and not want to talk to you and stuff like that and hate you and smile in your face and be fake and stuff like that. They thought that stuff was going to break you down to nothing. And they saw it was working for quite a period of time. But then in the end, they realized that they just played their damn self the entire time. They just played themselves. They did in every way, every shape, form. They did to cut that relationship and destroy that relationship. They did it in every doggone way. And you see it so clearly in your adulthood, but you didn't see it in your past. People have no leg to stand on in your life. They don't even have an ounce of power because they've never gave you a damn thing. They gave you nothing but evilness. Everything that they did evil, God turned around for your good. Again, that was not their intention. And what you'll see very clearly too is just like how you see out in the world, when you were out there in the world and you met people in your adulthood, they were big and bad and they had all that mouth, they had all that lip. They didn't care about you or nothing like that. They was doing whatever they wanted to do in a certain sense. They had all that mouth. They was disrespectful and stuff like that. But now all of a sudden when you get up and leave, now they want to act a whole different type of way. The same thing with the people that you grew up with your whole entire life. They've treated you a certain type of way for however many years you've been alive. But then now they all of a sudden turn around and now they're the perfect whatever. How did they do that? Are they Harry Houdini? Do they have some type of magician powers, magical? Are they practicing? Some of them probably practice some witchcraft. How in the world was it that they were able to change their personality just like that at the drop of a dime, but they never did that type of stuff before? Why are they so nice now? Why are they trying to give you things now? Why are they trying to be there for you now? Why are they so worried about you now? Why now? Why now? Where was this when you actually needed it before God got you up out that pit? Why is it now? And that's the question he's trying to get you to see. He's trying to show you. He's trying to show you. Had these individuals, if you had a blindfold, you already know what you're going to do with people out there in the world. You already know what it is with them. There's not even a damn second thought in your mind. But if you were to put that blindfold on and you didn't know who was who, you didn't. There would be no question with what you would do, but you couldn't see it, and it's very difficult to walk away from a lot of people that you got love for. But you realize these people ain't got love for you. They don't want to see you happy. They don't want to see you doing well. They don't want to see you being yourself. They don't want to see none of that stuff. They sit there and talk about you all doggone day. Everybody got all the greatest advice, and they got all the damn answers about how you should be living your life and what you should and shouldn't have done and everything like that. Funny thing is, the very same ones that's telling about they love you, they never came over there and told you all that great information that they were gathering up with amongst another. They never did that, did they? They never gave you that damn call, but they told everybody else they're great. They're great advice. They're just sages and they just know everything. That's just why they are where they are in their lives. And it's not to downplay these people or put these people down, but they don't even take a step back and even have a hesitation when it comes to you. They have no mercy when it comes to you. But when the shoe is in the other foot, these people, they act like they're the biggest victim in the world. Where have you seen that behavior out? Where have you seen that? You saw it when you were out there in the world. And you know what that is out there in the world. So what does that mean over here? People are people first. People are people first. If a person's spirit is evil, that person gonna be evil. Point blank, period. And when I say spirit, I mean that people, they don't work on themselves and they don't try to get better in life. So them damn demons is riding their back something heavy, and they give into it. So a lot of these people, they like the negativity, they like the drama, they like all that stuff. That's all good and dandy. And they got a problem with you because you won't sit there and let them walk all up over you. They got a problem with you is because you won't sit there and play fake with everybody. I don't want to be fake. I can't be fake. I'm not going to be fake. If something is something, I'm going to say it. If it's not, it's not. I'm not about to sit there and smile, kiki, ha ha, giggle, and laugh. So everybody will think that this stuff that we have together is a perfect thing, so we can broadcast to the world of how perfect we are. No, it's fake. It's fake. And I'm not about to sit here and indulge in some fakeness. They got a problem with you for that. That's why they've had a problem with you since day one, because your damn mouth and the truth that you speak. That's why they had a problem with you since day goddamn one, and was going against you since day goddamn one. They had all the power as long as you wanted the love and validation. But once God gave it to you, it was a damn done deal for people. They had lost the only power that they ever had in your life. And they know that. And they know that. They can't come back now and act as though that they're for you and they want to be there for you. Where was this energy when you actually needed it? Where was it? Well, they didn't have it is because they thought that they were winning. They didn't have it because they enjoyed seeing you in that pit. They didn't do it is because they were happy you were there. They didn't want to get you up out that situation. They didn't want you up out of there. They didn't care about you. And they wasn't worried and all that stuff when you actually was in the pit. But now that you're out the pit, everybody worried about you now. That's interesting, is it not? It's very interesting. How did that work? Again, are these people Harry Houdini? How is it that they're magically able to change? Are Lucky Charm? Are they a Lucky Charm? Are they magically delicious? I don't know why I just said that, but you understand what I'm talking about. Do they just have some type of a transmutant that they can just completely just change to a whole new person overnight? How did they do that? Hell, even you, when you went through your spiritual transformation, yeah, you changed, but you didn't necessarily change from your core. These people have changed from the core. How did they do that? How are they now for you when they were never there for you before? How did that work? Why is it now that they want to talk to you and be a part of your life and stuff like that when they didn't give a rat's ass before? In fact, they did everything that they could possibly do to break a relationship, to sever the relationship, to ensure that they never gave you a goddamn thing. They did everything in their damn power. And as long as they felt like they was winning, they was happy. They liked seeing you in that dark place. But now when you get up and go away, and now that you're not in that place no more, all of a sudden people want to be around you and they worried about stuff about you. That's interesting, is it not? How did that work? How does that work? How does that work? Why was this energy not here before? Well, because God's trying to tell you something. God is trying to tell you something. God is trying to tell you something. Maybe you should be listening right now. You have never been able to see this group as long as you didn't see the group up over here. When you saw the people in the world, you saw the people of the past. And though not easy, it was very simple of what you had to do next. Not easy, but simple. What I mean with not easy, I'm talking about it's a lot of heartbreak. It might be some type of emotional trauma or some type of triggering. Your abandonment issues is going to go haywire. And what I mean with your abandonment issues, like I was saying before, people, they were neglectful on purpose. They didn't want to come around. They didn't talk to you. They do all this matter of evil. They will leave you out and do that stuff on purpose. It was very much intentional. It was never an accident. But they'll claim that it was an accident or they didn't know. No, they know. They very much are very aware of what they're doing. Don't let people play you. They know what they're doing. The thing is, they just got caught. The thing is, they no longer get able to work off that, but they were intentionally in creating these abandonment issues and these abandonment wounds in you. Again, they were programming you since the start. People out in the world was simply coming into the computer database and they are just building off of what was already there. They saw the abandonment issues. They saw this. They already saw that. And what I mean with these abandonment issues is oftentimes, again, you will be so much more concerned as to whether or not people like you than respect you, because you are so much more concerned as to whether or not people are going to keep you in their life. You're afraid that these people are going to let you go because how people have done you in the past, whether physically, mentally, emotionally, or whatever the case may be. You are scared. And so you're operating from a place of fear that if I don't do what everybody else wants me to do, if I don't go here, if I don't do this, if I don't do that, if I don't smile, I don't do this, I don't do this, people ain't gonna like me no more and they don't want me around. They're gonna kick me out. Because I know in the past, when I was doing whatever I need to do and I was standing up for myself, I was doing da 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 da. In the past, look how they hurt me. They, look how they came across me in all this. Even if they did the silent treatments and the way that they was using extremely corrosive, manipulative tactics to break you down. So you learn the survival techniques of always being hyper vigilant, walking on eggshells. You learned that, oh, I need to just go over there and do, because if I don't, these people gonna kick me out. I won't have nobody no more. Then that trickles over into your relationships. That trickles over into the jobs that you are. Now you're tolerating BS and the bare minimum from people, and now you get into toxic environment after toxic environment after, and now you are afraid to stand your ground, to put your damn foot down and start to actually check people and stuff like that, because you know when you start to influence those boundaries, when you start to put them boundaries, a lot of people, they about to scatter. And as long as God wasn't there, you were afraid to do it. But once God got there, it was very much easy. It was much more easier to ensure that you keeping your peace, because God gave you peace, the love, validation. It doesn't matter as much no more for other people. You really could care less. And that's the footing that these people lost. That's why people coming back trying to hit that abandonment issue, that abandonment wound. They know how to get at you. They know how. They know how to get what they wanted up out of you. They've been doing it for years. They know how to make you feel bad. They know how to do all these things. It's because they have those abandonment issues in the abandonment programming. They wanted you to do whatever they want. And if you didn't do what they want, they were going to neglect you. They're going to use the silent treatment on you. They will give everybody else preferential treatment. They will push you in the back and act like you don't exist. They'll be extremely corrosive. They'll do unfair things towards you on purpose. When you don't do whatever they want you to do, when you don't kiss their ass, when you don't become a doormat, when you every time you stood up for yourself, what happened? They teach everybody else is better than you, and everybody, they, whether or not they know it, subconsciously that's what they feel, and so they treat you in the same way that everybody else is treating you. You believing that you don't have value and worth, that you are just not as good as the other person. You feel like a doggone stepchild. You feel like a child in somebody else's home. They could be a foster parent. And it's like you don't even have the, you might have the feeling that I cannot act the way that these, your foster parents, their kids, their actual kids. You can't act like them. They can have attitudes. They can do this. It's like, but you better not. You better be just lucky that somebody picked you up off the street. You better be lucky. You better be lucky that somebody picked you up off the street. And if you give me some lip, I'm kicking you right back out there on the street. And this is a thing that you might not even realize that you're doing. This is a very subconscious programming that people placed inside you on purpose, because they knew they can always come back and control you through that wound, that deep, deep, deep-seated wound. You're making decisions based off of those abandonment issues. You don't want people to leave, so you remove your boundaries and become a damn doormat. You care way more whether or not people like you in comparison to whether or not they respect you. and you thinking that that's good and that, oh, if people like me, that means that they respect you. No, 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 no. And it takes you go through hell to realize, hell no, hell no. Respect is number one. If I ain't got respect, I'm bouncing. I'm cutting people off, or we gonna have some problems with somebody. Respect is number one. I don't give a damn if these people don't like you. Like me. They're gonna respect me, or they're gonna respect my absence. It's just one of those two ways. And so once you get into that mindset, again, people, they lost every doggone ounce of power that they ever had over you. You don't care no more. Genuinely. You're not just sitting there trying to say, I don't care, to like they do, to get you to think a certain type of way or be in your feelings or something like that. They don't do. No, 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 no. It's truthfully not why you're doing that. You really don't care. And half these people, they know that. The other half, they think that you're playing games like them. You're able to see people so much clearer than you ever have. It's so blatantly obvious when God shows you and he says, these are your enemies, are they not? There's no question what you're about to do with these people up over here in the world. But what about these individuals that act just like the people out there in the world? And then that's when you know, people gotta go with love. Peace.